Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss the various businesses and the works that are related to the Navagrahas or the 9 planets of Vedic astrology. So this is part 1 of the video where I will be discussing the businesses related to the planets from Sun till Jupiter. And in the next video, I'll be discussing the other planets. Okay. So before we go into the meat of the topic, kindly subscribe to the channel, share the content if you feel it's going to help your friends and family, and do like the videos as well. Okay. So when it comes to business related to the sun, okay, Surya will always show a high level of business acumen, okay, because the sun himself is the king. So when the business related to the sun is considered, those works must be related to politics. Okay. If the sun is strong, then it helps in getting good benefits from the government. Okay. If the sun is in medium strength, okay, then the person can become a good politician or or an officer in the administration. And along with this, if the sun makes a very strong relationship with the ascendant or the ascendant lord or the moon sign, then the person is very likely to be in some sort of ministerial post, ministry work or some other types of high level work related to the government. Okay. Remember that sun is the natural karaka of the Atma. Okay. And in the person's livelihood, the sun represents government offices. Okay. It can make the person a very good theorist. Okay. A very good planner. And apart from this, the sun also makes strictly disciplined officers in the field, high positioned officers, administrators. It represents progress with time. That means you can start at a very low position, and then if your sun is weak, you can gradually build up your career with time. Okay. It represents all sorts of work related to wood and carpentry and furniture. Okay. So according to the strength of the sun in the horoscope, if you have a really strong sun in the horoscope, you will have access to a lot of power in life. Okay. Including the power of your physical body. If the sun is weakly placed, on the other hand, the person will be physically weak. And as a result, he is not able to give full results. Okay. So while studying the horoscope, it is very important to look at the sun, the position of the sun in the horoscope. And remember, the sun is the most important planet out of the Navagrahas. Okay. Because it is by the rule of the sun that the other planets become auspicious or inauspicious for the individual. Okay. So stronger the sun, the more powerful will be the person. Okay. And sun also represents a vast amount of spiritual knowledge. Okay. It represents the the positive form of ego, where the person does not accept anyone's submission. Okay. The person is fond of giving orders, understands his or her importance and dignity. Okay. And a person having a strong sun would always know how to control emotions. Okay. Any decision that is taken by such a person is always taken after due consideration and not taken by getting carried away by emotions. And while sticking to his or her decisions, these people may appear to be somewhat harsh. Okay. And remember, harsh is not cruel. Okay. Harsh is not malefic, right? So sometimes being harsh becomes very important when it comes to running a business. All right. And this the strength of the sun also makes a person more and more responsibility. The sun, as I said, will always display a sense of leadership and dominance. And it is always related to people who are in high level administrative work, politics, even a goldsmith, jeweler, doctors. Sun is the karaka for medicine, basically, management related to medicines, hospital management, even it also represents materials made of copper, gold, ruby, or even bone. Okay. Similarly, uh, you know anything related to wheat. Okay. Any farm related work related to wheat, anything related to aviation, anything related to red colored materials, honey. Okay. I have mentioned previously also anything related to wood, used for making buildings, used for making furniture, anything related to medical science, space science, photography, Everything comes under the sun. And if there is a relation of the 5th house or the 9th house with the sun, then the person can proceed with his family or with his father's work. Okay, that means the work that has been traditionally done by the members of his or her family. Okay, now coming to the moon, just like the sun is the king, the moon is the queen. Okay, so the sun represents politics, the moon represents the bureaucracy. Okay, and the moon always represents appointment given by the government in the form of work related to government tender, state officer, state employee, some work related with the bureaucracy and so on. Okay, moon, remember, the moon is an aquatic planet, so opportunities for doing business related to water can also be seen from the moon. Okay, the moon also represents business or work related to products other than water, beverages, milk, dairy products like curd, ghee, butter, dairy foods, ice cream, cold drinks, okay, mineral water, white matter, rice, salt, sugar, flower decoration, pearl, other things like coral, conch, ceramic crockery, uh, soft sand. In Asia, it is known as multani mitti. Okay, plaster of Paris. Business related to textiles, business related to Ayurvedic medicines. Okay, any kind of work related to water supply, canal, irrigation, any sort of work related to flower decoration. Okay, fisheries, import export, excise, sailor, or nursing, then public relations officer, etc. Okay, now since the moon represents water and beverages, so moon combining with Rahu can lead to a business related to intoxicants and alcohol. Similarly, moon combining with Venus can lead to a business of fragrant oil, perfume, uh, branded shoes, branded clothes, ready-made garments, textile business, and so on. Okay, so the moon is considered to be a female planet, a feminine planet. So if the moon is in its own sign, Cancer, and is making it's making a relationship with the 10th lord, then you can end up working in a place where there are a lot of female bosses, or where there are a lot of female superiors. Okay, now coming to Mars, remember, Mars is regarded as the commander. Okay, Mars is the fiery planet and the significator, the karaka of land. Okay, so in the context of Mars, the work will almost always relate to the army, to the police department. It represents work that requires the quality of courage and bravery. And due to if a person has a very prominent Mars, then the person would be very fearless in his or her dealings. Okay, but if a Mars is afflicted, then the person is going to lack any strength as well as courage. Okay, so Mars is always going to give you the quality of warriors. Okay, however, if Mars associates with other fiery planets, okay, like the sun, it can make you have a very autocratic and dictatorial nature at work. Okay, so what does Mars represent? It represents police and army jobs, as I said, any kind of work related to fire, electricity, adventure work, work related to the sale and purchase of land, land science, agriculture, defense department, anything related to mechanics or mechanical engineering, blood bank. Remember, Mars also represents sharp instruments, so it can give a career as a surgeon, as a chemist, as a pharmacist. It can give a career in civil engineering, in civil aviation, in arms manufacturing, in bodybuilding, adventure sports, wrestling, fire brigade, chemistry labs, works that require a high rush of adrenaline, for example, the ringmaster in a circus, okay, or a stunt master in films, for example. Say if Mars associates with Venus, you can end up working as a stunt coordinator in the film industry. Okay, work related to fuel, work related to copper, work related to red colored substances, bakery, restaurants, catering, confectionery, bricklin, pottery, even fast food. Okay, barbers, as well as work related to furnace and other sharp tools. Okay, now as I said, Mars is the karaka for land work. So if it makes a relation with fiery planets like the sun, then the person can easily earn money from works related to fire. Okay, for example, from furnace related work or electrical work or food preparation or in factories. Okay, similarly, if Mars is forming a relation with the fourth lord, then the person can get income or wealth from the land. Okay, can become rich by renting out properties. All right, and due to this combination, that means Mars coming together with the fourth lord, then the person will be very much engaged in doing property related works and is also going to get good benefits in this area. Okay, so Mars also represents how good a taskmaster you are. Okay, it represents your ability to manage your employees. It represents your ability to to keep your organization together. Okay, because Mars is all about logic. Okay, Mars is the field of logic is always the domain of Mars, and if Mars is prominent in the fifth house, it makes the person very witty as well as very logical. Okay, similarly, if Mars is the 10th lord and associates with the sun or moon, then the person can get work related to the state or central governments. Okay, similarly, if Mars is the lord of the fourth house and is influenced by moon or Venus, then the person gets a lot of income from landed property, from real estate, and also gets the happiness of having his or her own property. Okay, so next comes the planet of Mercury. Okay, so Mercury, remember, Mercury is the prince. So this feeling is also very visible in the works related to Mercury. And Mercury is all about jealousy. Okay, Mercury is all about, seeking freedom. Mercury does not want to be bound under anyone. Okay, Mercury is the Vaishya planet. Vaishya means the class of businessmen, right? So Mercury is all about making the person independent minded. Okay, Mercury rule people, or people having a prominent Mercury would be very creative in their knowledge, in their actions, and also very ahead in taking initiatives on their own. And for example, if a person has a Taitula Karana, look at the Panchanga, and if a person has Taitula Karana, which is related to Mercury, it means the person would be engaged in more than one type of profession. Okay, so this is a planet that is associated with business, and if Mercury is prominent, then the native is endowed with a high sense of intelligence that makes him or her a businessman from all angles. Okay. Now, if Mercury lords the second or the fifth or the ninth house in the horoscope, it means that the person would be very much interested in doing his or her own work rather than working under someone. Okay. If Mercury joins the moon and the sun, or the ascendant lord, or Mercury makes some kind of relation with the lagna, then the person is bound to be an intellectual. Okay, the person will earn money through education. Remember, Mercury is the karaka for speech. So if Mercury is placed in the second house or the fifth house, then the person is going to be admired by his or her speech, both in the field of work or in the social sphere and to the people. Okay, is going to impress people with his or her speaking skills. And such a person is always going to be successful in getting favorable results by doing work related to, lawyers, artists, consultants, spokesperson, and so on, motivational speakers, and so on. Okay. Now, if Mercury makes a relationship with Saturn or Venus, then the person is going to be a hard worker apart from being a good speaker. Okay. And besides business, other career or other businesses related to Mercury, other careers or businesses related to Mercury include teaching, include, authors, astrology, publications, publishers, chartered accountants, mathematicians. Remember, for mathematicians, even Mars has to be some way related to Mercury. Okay, it can make one go into the business of consultancy, capital investment, share market. Okay, computer related software development, anchoring, storytelling, journalism, media, communication sector, brokerage. Okay, anything related to anything related to accounts, anything related to postal or telegraph, things related to newspaper, People having a strong Mercury can work as typists in various organizations, can run their own courier service, can run their own financial institutions. They are very good at managing Mercury. Okay, I've seen people having strong Mercury work in income tax departments, as even as salesmen, and even as stand-up comedians and satire artists. Okay, now if both Mercury and Venus are strong, then there are high chances of getting success in the textile industry. Okay, Mercury, as I said, is the Karaka for writing. And if Mercury is making a relation with the sun, which happens in most cases, it is Dutta Yoga. I think my sound is gone. Yeah. So if Mercury is joining the sun, and this is a combination which is known as Buddhaditya Yoga, then it can make a very good author. It can make a person very articulate with his or her thought processes. Okay. And if Mercury is related with Mars, then it can give work related to the field of mathematics or mechanical department. Okay. For example, my Mars is placed in a Mercury-based nakshatra. Okay. So I am a mathematician as well as a computer scientist by profession, right? And if Mercury is making a relationship with the fifth house of Venus, then the person can earn by works of entertainment and artistic expression. I've seen people having prominent Mercury working as advisors as well as mediators and real estate agents. Okay, if Mercury is impacting the fourth house and Mars is impacting the 10th house, then the person can be the agent, can work as an agent of real estate. Okay. Similarly, if you want to run your own educational institution, it really helps if you have, Mercury joining Jupiter. If there is a relationship between Jupiter and Mercury. Okay. And of course, from the point of view of business, as I said, Mercury makes very good businessmen. Okay, with a very high amount of skill set related to speech and intelligence. And Mercury, remember, it is a business planet, so the person would always be neutral. Okay, when it comes to voicing his or her opinions, the person is always going to be neutral. They are of that opinion where they will not have enimities with anyone. Okay. Now, if Mercury is exalted in Virgo, then I have seen such people work in the field of data science, which is quite a new field, and it is actually growing at a very rapid rate. Okay. And for people having a prominent Mercury, there is an answer they have for everything. Okay. So they are very good and very effective in, as speech writers as well. And as I said, Mercury is a Vaishya planet, so it always seeks cooperation. Okay. It always seeks cooperation. If a person having a strong Mercury becomes a manager, then that person is going to try his or her best to take everyone along in an organization. Okay. And Mercury also enhances the qualities of the other planets. It is the great multiplier. So whichever planet Mercury joins, it is going to multiply the effects of that planet by manifold. Okay. And the person having a strong Mercury is usually going to be very tactful, will be a conflict, will be very fond of resolving conflicts, and will have very good diplomatic skills. Okay, these natives having strong Mercury, they are calm, they work tactfully in completing the tasks, and usually these people are successful in living a worldly life. And they are very, they are very gentle yet very firm in their way of speaking, and they remain engrossed in their work without considering what other people say. Okay, so I was about to cover Jupiter in this video, but it's going to take too long if I start with Jupiter. So I'll be covering Jupiter and the remaining planets in the next video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please leave behind your valuable feedback in the comment section. I'll see you soon in the next video. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.